Alrighty, what is up? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MKU Primetime. It's your boy Squidz back on the mic for the first time in almost 3 years, which is crazy to think. I think the last time I casted was the World Cup 2021. Sheesh, how time flies. But it's good to be back. And enough of me waffling, because I'm not alone. I am joined by Alex. What is up, man?
Good evening, Squidz. How's it going? I asked that as if we've not just been in call together for the last couple hours playing MKU, but no, it's good to be back as well. Been probably at least a year, and then before that, I've absolutely no idea how long it's been since I've casted. So yeah, two returning veterans, I guess you could say, if you want to consider us that highly.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is a good match to come back to because I want to say we've got two up-and-coming teams here. We have Team BUZ versus Team Nightmare X playing in Division 6. And the reason why I say up-and-coming is because they've had some really big wins recently. And if you compare where they were last MKU season with Team BUZ in D9 and Nightmare X in D8, they've taken some real big strides. So if we start with Team BUZ, not only that, but Team BUZ going from D9 to D6 this season, and they've actually started 3-0 as well. So they are racing right out the block. We see they actually had a plus 200 win versus Chico's, though that may have been a 6v5. So still, yeah, it's still a nice win though. A nice win against Battle Battalion as well, because obviously we know Battle Battalion, very strong team. We got some really good players as well with some pretty crazy indiv averages. We have Just Nintendo with a 115 average, I think. That is probably before the after week 1, so that's not counting the most recent win, but considering they won, it might be even higher now.
Potentially, yeah.
And I think the most notable thing to talk about with Team BUZ is, of course, their amazing Paradigm 3 result, where they made it to the gold bracket. With some really, really strong wins. They had a plus 44 win against Mushroom Team, and they kept it really close against Battle Brigade as well, which I think they were playing as a Battle Brigade and Battle Battalion, but only a minus 30 and only a minus 20 against what I think is Harmonia.
Yeah, I believe so.
And so, yeah, they got 27th in Paradigm 3, which is a very strong result. If you want to talk about Nightmare X, Alex.
So, Nightmare X, well, so as of last week, they were 2-0. However, they are coming off the back of a loss to start this week. So they are currently sitting at 2-1. Their week 1 results were 108 differential versus Battle Battalion, and exactly half of that plus 54 versus Chico's. They're coming, as you said earlier, they're coming from being in Division 8 in the previous season and having, much like BUZ, a very strong start to life in D6, as well as coming off a not quite as impressive as BUZ, but still a very strong result in Paradigm, 4th place in the silver bracket, which barely below BUZ. Like if you think about like overall placements, it's only a few spots down from them. So they have, in terms of players, both Bo, who I think is known as HHHH, and Darkrai, both at 114 average after week 1. Obviously, that's not counting the match that they've just played. But yeah, to have two big scorers is definitely helping them a lot in this division. And going back to Paradigm, coming off of results +8 against JJ, which is quite impressive, and a plus 16 against AD. So 2 close wins against tough teams to beat, obviously cementing their high positioning in the silver bracket.
Indeed. So as we've been waffling there, we have had lineups up on the stream for quite a while. I think we actually are ready to pretty much get back into the game, as I think we are 12. But just to really just gloss over these lineups, pretty strong lineups from both teams. We've got Baper, Billy Butcher. We've got Q Dot, who I think, you know what, I'm not going to say who I think it is, because it's probably completely wrong, and I'm going to embarrass myself. But we also have TikTok Clock, which I think is actually Just Nintendo, which I mentioned earlier, with a huge average. And then we've got TJ and Yui against Darkrai, who you mentioned, Bo, Icon, Pika Professor 18, Professor Shy Guy, and T1 Bye.
Sorry, just to clarify, we will be referring to Billy Butcher as is it Schism or Schism, however you pronounce that.
Oh yes. My B. So many people with some wacky registry
silly
names. It's very hard to keep up.
Silly Billy.
All right. I think we are 12 in room. I'm not sure if we started yet though. I think both teams might just be waiting for the green light. But we will be hopping in game in just a second. But while we wait, Alex, I've got to ask you, both teams here, who do you think is going to come out on top?
So obviously, BUZ have the momentum of just winning their most recent match. I feel like that might play into it, either in a positive or negative manner. Obviously, they have the momentum of just winning, but they could also be, they might have just peaked earlier on today. Who knows? I think BUZ are in the better position. I think they have overall a much stronger lineup. Obviously, we have 3 key players from BUZ as opposed to 2 really of note from NT. But very strong teams. Going off recent results, I think though BUZ is the stronger team going into this matchup. But not enough to set the tone for the entire war. It's a lot to ask of that in one race. But if a team gets a top 6, then obviously they've got the mental upper hand. They've got a very big point buffer. Not sure how that's relevant though, because that is not the situation we are in. we do get a Ribbon Road pick. I did miss which team this was. I would imagine that this was a BUZ pick, as this track can be extremely random.
Yeah.
And the middle spots that are able to pull shrooms tend to benefit a lot more than the runners.
It doesn't favor the top spots quite as much. And I do think we are back, and it looks like the stream is actually working. I'm not knock on wood. We will see. But let us get right back into the action here. Triple Greens pulled out in 6th.
Could be quite a dangerous position.
Good connect onto 1 there. Trying to go for the second, but not quite going to connect. The Shroom now in 5th. We're going to be chaining that. That's interesting. Yeah, no Shroom there in 5th. That was quite a risky chain. But looking at all of the light blue Yoshis in the middle of the pack, I think this could potentially be a top 3 right now for Team BUZ, Alex.
Yeah, we do see TJ. TJ is the only visible player up here. But yeah, I think you're very much right about the Yoshi colors. Pretty bad mistake from Bai as well there. Obviously, he's not insanely close to the top spots, but he needs to try and reduce the distance as much as possible, and by making a mistake like that, does force his team into a much worse position. However, with them occupying a lot of the lower spots, I think a shock is definitely on the cards.
Yeah, as soon as you say that,
brought that into existence.
The dodge comes through, and we do have another star as well to take the cut here. These triple greens could do a lot of damage, as we do know BUZ is still holding a pretty significant amount of top spots. At least they were. There's actually 2 light blues
in top 2, yeah. TJ kind of doing everything he can to just not get hit out. Q shrooming up as well. Still holding 3-4. 3-4 after a shock on Ribbon Road is not the worst.
Oh, and
Q gets taken out by a Rogue Nana. TJ taken out. Q still holding it up in second. One of NT is off. So is Q.
All of a sudden, Bai is actually in second now. And that's a top 3 for Team Nightmare X. That shock doing absolute wonders. I see they are getting last. They are getting bottom 2. So it's almost a sandwich race there. Top 3, 9, bottom 2. That will be a winning race, but they will most definitely take that, considering that Team BUZ going into lap 2, they were top 3. They were holding all that front presence. And so what could have been a potential plus 10, plus 20 race for Team BUZ ends up being a slightly winning race for Nightmare X due to the shock.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you take whatever spots you can get out of that if you're BUZ. Yeah. Getting the mid spots puts you in a good position for the next race, I believe, if you get the track pick, that is. And obviously not getting absolutely wiped out. Obviously with NT getting, I think that was a 9-11-12, still does partially cancel out the top 3. So all things considered, not a bad result considering all the odds stacked against BUZ. And they do get the track pick. A rare Moo Meadows appearance.
Yeah, Moomy Meadows, it's going to be one of those kind of tracks where if you pull a shroom at this first item set, you're going to be looking very pretty. Shocks, it's one of the shortest tracks in the game, so shocks are very uncommon. So if you get all the front presence early on, it's not going to be all that easy to try. Oh, no! He was too busy.
Focused on the past and not focused enough on the present.
But you know what? As I just mentioned, we've got those triple shrooms in 12th, and so it's actually not even that bad. If it was a different track with little to no shortcuts, it would be a bit more of an issue. But instead, Bai is going to probably opt for the safer play and actually just get some coins, get some moolah. That is now currently a bottom 2 for Nightmare X as they hold a 14-point lead after 2 races. Looking at the minimap, we have quite a lot of Team BUZ, I think, holding the front. But again, it's a pretty tight pack, and so Shrooms can completely change the order here as we see Bai doing exactly that. Shrooming up now into what is 6th. Got to watch out for those greens. They are going to connect back down to 11th. As we know, tune into Q with the horn in 4th.
In top that is 4, it looks like, for BUZ.
Top 4 indeed. And again, just as I was saying, a shock is not going to be common here. If it's going to be pulled, it'll have to be pulled here. And I think only a couple people are actually at distance. So a shock is absolutely necessary here. Otherwise, this is going to look like it's looking like it's going to be a huge race for Team BUZ.
Very nice horn from Q. Takes out one of the NT members trying to take Kart. And the green snipes him out of it as well. It's looking like a top 5. Sorry, no. Professor Shy Guy doing the work for NT. And it's looking like he's going to take first. I don't know what happened to the horns on BUZ's end, but Shy Guy manages to clinch first with what looks like about 3 or 4 BUZ. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 6 for BUZ.
Bottom 3.
I'd be a little bit disappointed in that result if I were BUZ. As I said about, I don't know what happened to the horns. They were holding horns in 2-4 going into lap 3. I think probably the optimal play in that situation for Q is slowing down a little bit and extending the lead between the mid spots and the top 3. Obviously, with holding horn, I feel like that's like by far the best thing you can do to just solidify at the very least a top 2, if not top 3 for your team.
Yeah.
Even if he does get punished for it. Regardless, though, 2, 3, 4, 6, solid result. Obviously, wanting probably some slightly better results.
It was looking like it was going to be a lot better, wasn't it? Professor Shy Guy doing absolute wonders, getting first place there. Because I do believe Nightmare X did get bottom 3 that race. I'm pretty sure Professor Shy Guy is actually using a dark blue Yoshi as well. He's trying to throw a spanner in the works. Yeah, dark blue Birdo, trying to blend in a little bit to Team BUZ. Yes. This is going to be a very interesting track pick, though. I imagine this will most definitely favor Team BUZ because, as we know, with Music Park, as we head into here for race number 4, exactly that. So many drafts. The red does. I think we saw a red attempt to go for Professor Shy Guy, but it didn't connect. I think it lag hit someone else instead. So Professor Shy Guy is still
commanding majority of the top spots at an early stage. Q kind of being the only front presence for BUZ right now, and he does get taken out as well. And it's looking like NT are probably top 5 at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not how I expect this to go. A very nice slow horn there, and I can only assume was on a BUZ member. If it wasn't, that'd be a bit awkward. But that is indeed Professor Shy Guy running away in first place. That's a guaranteed top 3 from what we can see at least for Team Nightmare X. Got to watch out for this trail here. I'm going to let his teammate Bai take the cup. Yeah, that does make sense.
His teammate shrooms up. I feel like it's safe to just chill with these reds. Maybe attempt to back this turn, as we know, probably very good spot for backs. Chooses to play it safe. Yeah,
we do see the top 4, I think, from Nightmare X now, but we do also see a 911 in the back. So we do still have a little bit of shock watch from Nightmare X with this front presence. No shock in play just yet by the looks of it. We see someone from BUZ come out of a ghost there. But as I say that, they go into another ghost, and we are now in a situation where Team BUZ are going to be striving up into these top spots. Through comes the bullet bill. And we see Q as well getting a star in sixth. Very good pull. Might be forced into the star due to these triple greens from Darkrai in fifth.
I don't know what happens to Yui, but they get taken out. It's still looking pretty good for Nightmare X.
It really
Q's
is.
not getting a box at the end as well. He's not going to have any impact on the end of this race. Misses the trick, falls into the off-road.
And we see someone from Team BUZ as well getting taken out. It's going to be a top 4 from Nightmare X and make that a top 4, 7, 10 as well. That is absolutely gigantic on a track that I believe was picked by Team BUZ as well
to
utilize all of their drafting spots. And it just did not work out. I don't know what happened, but Nightmare X, I think they just got all the drafts in the back, had the shrooms to catch up early, and they just had all the front presence halfway through lap 1.
Yeah, BUZ kind of just... It feels like BUZ conceded a little too easily to all of Nightmare X at the start there. Like they seem to be not really trying to they weren't trying to drive aggressively, and because of that, Nightmare being the aggressive ones at the start. Like you said, they got the drafts, they pulled the shrooms, and I think
Nightmare, you could say.
Yeah. I think by the second set they were holding, I believe it was top 2-4.
Yeah.
So. And then shading into the dreaded RWS pick for top 4.
Yeah, that's a very, very important track pick. RWS, one of the best front running tracks in the entire game. Very technical, only one shortcut, and then it's not even that huge of a shortcut, even if it is at the very end. So Team BUZ, they are going to have to try and shroom up as quickly as possible and hold this front presence. We do see a good trail from Q, I think, onto Professor Shy Guy. So yeah, Professor Shy Guy is out already.
I don't think Q could have played that any better. He drove perfectly and got the trail out, as you said. But he does get sniped off the track! Oh, that spot is deadly for getting hit by anything, because obviously the momentum just sends you downwards.
Yeah, absolutely brutal.
Spots look quite mixed. We see a light blue Yoshi in first, so obviously that is Nightmare. But
seeing lots of Team BUZ actually be taken out now, though.
Yeah,
we just see an Inkling and a Red Yoshi. As I say that, we do see some dirty work from Q here. That green is bouncing. Is that going to connect? No way, it does. Right? No, it doesn't. That is Bo in second.
In a very favorable position, with triple greens getting the back with one of them onto Q. And now they're pretty much settled in top 2 for the race, I'd like to say.
They're absolutely gone. The only thing that can ruin that is a shock, which, of course, is still possible. I think,
and we have seen a lot of them so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of bottom 3 are pretty much at shock distance right now, just because of how gone top 2 are. Triple greens and 4 now from Q. Oh, as his teammate gets side greened right after the cut. That's unfortunate. And we do see now Professor Shy Guy. He's back with a vengeance. He's in a star. He's looking for Q after that first lap incident, and there it is. There's the revenge.
Forces him wide, deals the blow. It's going to be a top 3 for NT as things stand. That is going to be a BUZ shock into the set. Very favorable pulls after the set.
It is. Who's that in a bill, though, in third? That's going to be very, very important. We can assume it's Team BUZ. It is indeed.
It was.
Nightmare X are still holding top 2, but BUZ might have shrooms to take second. We do see a Red Yoshi now going to second, so I think it is a 3-5 triple green to the end from Q. That was absolute chaos there as the items getting thrown around. I do think that is still going to be slightly favoring Nightmare X. It's okay. It's relatively even, actually. 1-3-6 from Nightmare X. Team BUZ, that shock was absolutely crucial from them, because if they did not have that, that was not only a guaranteed top 2 for Team Nightmare X, but potentially more as well.
But that shock was, not only did it get all of Nightmare X's top spots after the set, but prevented, I think first place was already after it, but second place from taking the ramp strat, which, as anyone watching, I hope at this point would know, does save a considerable amount of time. So getting that time save at a crucial point in the race, while dodging, while chaining power items. Obviously, we saw Q chain into a star and triple shrooms, able to just propel into the front. We'll say Q got pretty unlucky to get ghosted, to get his triple shrooms ghosted out of him towards the end of the lap. But nonetheless, solid outcome for BUZ. I will say though, they have been very much bailed out by shocks on multiple races so far, and even then are still down 30 points. NT definitely the team playing the better Mario Kart as things are.
Most definitely. And we are actually going to Weibo, Wii Rainbow Road, because someone did unfortunately not get the memo and pick the wrong Rainbow Road. So this is actually really interesting, because I think both teams are not expecting this track pick. So this is definitely one of those tracks where, it again, like Wario Stadium, in my opinion, it's one of the best runners in the game, but it really does come down to if there is a shock that gets pulled. Because although it is one of the best runners in the game, if a shock does get pulled, and there's multiple build strats on this track, especially out of that cannon, the shocks can do a lot of damage. We see, speaking of a lot of damage, we do see Q backsliding all those greens and connecting with a lot of people trying to get up into the front right now. In second, Nightmare X are still holding first, but only first, I think. Maybe 1-5, as we see Shy Guy coming into fourth or fifth now. No double reds from Q, so Darkrai is going to be holding on to first for the time being. Throwing the reds, though, going to try their best to hit first out. But as I say that, through comes the blue shell.
Blue. A Q. Pretty good position going into that. Obviously, able to just chain reds. Didn't matter. Blue came, and now he's the one commanding the front. I feel like he does kind of need to try and hit Darkrai out here. You see
the hidden banana behind the set. That is brutal, and just like that, Darkrai is promoted back into first place. Do keep in mind, though, there is definitely enough time for a second blue, but of course that would be... oh my goodness gracious, where are we going, Q? Tell me. Something tells me we're not racing the same track right now. That could have very easily ended in disaster. I'm not sure if they were trying to get some back spam or trying to back spam a red or what, but one thing I do know is Nightmare X are holding on to 1-3, and Q is feeling the pressure. Up comes the green. A bomb is such a good pull, though. If third does not see this bomb coming... Actually, you know what? I think the member in Nightmare X actually got redded out there. Oh, but that's such an unlucky pull. A coin from back here. Through comes the red shell. Nothing you can do against that. As Nintendo is now...
2-3-4, I think that is for BUZ as things stand, which is a winning result in most cases, but I think they do kind of need to give up on the idea of getting first this race, as I believe that's Darkrai is just gone at this point. He's been having very good race. But if I were BUZ, I would just play it safe, make sure that I'm not able to get hit easily, just drive safe. Although, if we do see red shells, which we do not, we do actually, ignore me.
Hold on.
It could be.
Is it possible we see a change for the lead? Which we do. And the bomb. Hold on a second. If this bomb connects, this could be brutal. And it doesn't. It just doesn't. Not. I think maybe just a bit too close. That could have been a very good race for Team BUZ. Granted, I say that, it would have been a top two. I'm seeing a lot of mid spots on Nightmare X. If my eyes do not see me, indeed I do. 2, 4, 5 for Nightmare X, plus the 8, 9 to top it off. So, although it was the 1-3 from Team BUZ, not many other top spots to support it.
So, yeah, Nightmare have had like 2 really strong races. I think they got a plus 14 and a plus 20, like plus 20 something in there as well. 2 like very solid races, whereas BUZ have been getting all right races. They've been getting like 1 or 2 top spots, and then kind of after that it's just been entirely mid spots.
Yeah.
For both teams, obviously when BUZ are in the front. I think BUZ do really need a momentum shift here. They do need to maybe get a couple track picks, maybe get, 2 shock race, something like that, to put them in the driver's seat for this war. Because like I've mentioned, NT are the ones controlling the front. NT are the players who are playing better right now. We saw Darkrai very dominant that race, obviously, until Q chain reds onto him. And Q, well, not Q specifically, but BUZ as a team just don't seem to have that sort of like pressure that NT have been applying up until this point.
We will have to see if things change in this second half. This is another track pick from BUZ, kind of similar to Moo Moo Meadows in a way, except one thing I will say is shocks do tend to be a lot more common on this track.
With the sets not functioning as they should do in some cases. And obviously, only one set being like part of the, I guess, like fastest route on this track makes these races play pretty badly. I feel like this is just not a great track in general. But if BUZ enjoy it, let them have it. I respect it.
I think we're seeing quite a lot of BUZ top presence here. I do say that Professor Shy Guy is holding down second. Not exactly sure who that is in first, but if it is also Nightmare X, then it means Nightmare X are holding top 2-4 right now.
I believe that is a BUZ member in first, the P-Chat. Yeah, which would mean it is 1-3 for BUZ. Not a lot of time left to make an impact on the race. BUZ are making a come up, 1-3-4 as things stand, if I am right.
It's a lot of
not really able to do anything here with these triple nanas and failing on every turn.
Oh no! No! Oh dear! And the shot comes through. Okay, so that's not going to be a bottom 3 due to that shock, but it's going to be close. Yeah, 1-3-4-6. That is the race BUZ needed. And I was going to say actually, I was actually about to say on Nightmare X having a good race on their track pick, on BUZ's track pick, but no, not this time. They finally get the race they want on their track pick, and now things are going to start looking a lot closer than they were previously. 5 races to go still, more than enough time to make this comeback. I'm going to guess it's only around 10 points now.
Yeah, looking like that. It'll definitely be... Oh, here we go. Never mind, not here we go. I saw the saw a little flash on the scores. Ah, there we go. 14.
That is
14
doable.
Points is nothing. There is very little separating these two teams right now.
And again, this track pick.
BUZ coming off a good race. Not getting the track pick though. We are subjected
lounge gremlins.
We are subjected to viewing Mario Kart Stadium.
Playing Mario Kart Stadium in a 6v6. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. But you know what? If this is the track that they think they can make the comeback on,
whatever floats their boat.
We might see a few more baggers as well, just like DP3. Going to see a pretty similar situation, I imagine. Yeah, immediately we can see a member of Team BUZ just going back to get some coins. Triple greens now from Bai on the side of Nightmare X trying to take out Yui, and it is successful. So Yui's now going to be bagging, I imagine.
Obviously, like taking players out and forcing them into the back while reducing their coin count is in the team's best interest. It does force them into a worse position for the rest of the race. And by the looks of things, Nightmare X do have a good share of the top spots. We see BUZ in first with that inkling.
Yep.
But Nightmare X is controlling pretty much every spot behind them. Arguably not a great position on this track.
We do see Bai slowing down to that set, though. I do wonder if that's an indication that a shock could be in play, or maybe just that Bai did not think they were in a good spot. The blue shell does come through, but it does get horned by Nightmare X. Nightmare X are holding a lot of front presence right now. I think 1, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, indeed. The bananas, that was very close. Had to press the abort button right at the end. But also for these greens, though, from BUZ, as the greens are coming up. Not successful in connecting, though. Just yet, they're still
top 3.
It is
in top 3 for Nightmare X. And with them holding shrooms, it's looking like a pretty favorable position. It's looking like they're probably not going to get taken out, although we do look back and we see Bo getting hit. If we could switch to Q's POV, maybe we could see what's going on in the mid-pack. He's angling up.
We see both players going for the motion glider, and here it is. It is successful. That red was so close. Making 3 spots from that motion glider. Very well done. Securing 3, 4, 5 from the team, which is very, very needed, considering Team Nightmare X gets top 2, 6, 7, extending the lead even further.
I was going to say, it was looking like it was going to be a much better race for Nightmare X. Obviously, they were controlling most of the top spots until I think it was Bo got taken out in third.
It was, yeah.
But as we've been saying, BUZ need bigger races than that. They didn't even win that race. They need to get those big wins. They need a top 4 of their own to counteract the one that Nightmare X got earlier on. Down 20 points going into the final GP, it looks like.
Yeah, it was a -6.
Yeah, not a great position. but we will be going to the bathroom potentially.
Well, potentially, yeah.
I was about to say I spoke too soon. It'll be commentator's curse now.
The thing is Nightmare X, they have this safety net now as well. Like they can just tank a pretty horrible race, and they can just tank that now, and it will just be even. It's not like they'd even be losing unless it was like a top 6 or something from Team BUZ, which again I'm not going to count out. Squeaky clean sprint for race number 9, as you said, heading to the bathroom.
We've got quite a technical track, which with BUZ picking this track for their spots, safe to assume that they have put the hours into this one, made sure that they're good, like confident on it before picking it, and if they can reap the rewards of that, then they will be in the right position. And I think they needed a track like this, but Q not having any chance to really exploit the fact that they've got their track pick and forcing them back on a track which it is possible to catch up, but running,
it is possible, but is it easy?
Yeah, running is optimal, very very clearly optimal. And with Q just getting owned over and over again, it's not going to be easy for him to make an impact on this race as things stand.
That is true. However, looking at the map, there's a lot of Team BUZ holding that front presence. I mean, as evident as all of the NT tags back now in the middle spots, and BUZ just like that's actually in 6th. Q, sorry, are holding down 6. So I think they're currently 2-3-6. Though I might have to correct myself. Yeah. There is now a light blue Yoshi, and Professor Shy Guy we see is also in 3rd too.
I think that's it's looking like a 2-3-4 currently for Nightmare X. Q.
Was sucked in at a very weird angle. Now, one thing I've noticed is Q is holding on to this ghost for a very, very long time. Now, is that an indication that a shock's in play, or are we just hoping we pull a shock?
Blue does come out, but Q gets hit off the glider, and he's not going to get the favorable respawn.
Horrible respawn. Back in last now. See what the ghost steals. Triple greens in 12th. Not really what you want. You do have someone from we have Bo in Nightmare X to try and potentially take out, but
I don't think taking out the player in 11 will do too much in the grand scheme of things, but he does go for it anyway.
That's a really good pull.
The Nana.
That's such a good pull, because now Q can do the build strat using it a bit earlier than I thought he would, though.
Will we see a BUZ shock come in? That's the question. Not just yet. There's still time. Nightmare's still commanding a lot of the top spots. We do see them in top 2 as things stand.
Yes.
But a dodge here could change the tide of the race. Nope. 3-4 for BUZ.
Oh, this horn.
The horn could do so much.
Yeah, there it is. But it was actually from Yui. It was Q's teammate trying to hit someone from Nightmare X, but not hitting the mark. It's going to be a top 2, 4, 8, but a bottom 2 from Nightmare X to balance things out ever so slightly. But again, this is not what BUZ needs. Time and time again, it feels like Nightmare X, as you said earlier, they're just holding so much more front presence.
Yeah, like by the looks of things, Nightmare just have a lot more confidence when they're in the front. Like they're going for more plays generally. I think other than Q, because Q has been very much the playmaker of BUZ this match. But you saw races like Weibo, Darkrai was just hitting Q at every possible opportunity. They're not afraid to go for those plays, and they have the upper hand, so it's a lot easier for them to go for those plays because there's less of a repercussion for them. And until I keep saying Q instead of BUZ, until BUZ get a race like that for themselves, it's looking like Nightmare X are just going to sit comfortably as in the positions that they're in, and obviously they keep getting these top 2s and then mixed spots, which push their lead ever so slightly forwards.
Don't forget.
Bad news.
Don't forget that Team BUZ are the undefeated team as it stands, 3-0 after 3 wars. Nightmare X did take an L earlier today for their first match. Waluigi Stadium now, again, pulling a shroom here is going to be essential if you want to get into the front as early as possible. No box from Bai, and this is going to get a bit hectic as everyone tries to go for the Nisk. The bumps, it's not going to be a favorable line from Bai. Down to 9th now.
Another very technical track being played. I feel like that's quite a quite a common pattern in this war for both teams, because I believe this was a Nightmare X pick.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So I think it's both teams just going for the angle of whatever we have the knowledge on, we try and exploit that. Didn't work out for BUZ on Squeaky Clean Sprint, and as things stand, it's looking like Nightmare X have been able to use that to their advantage.
Top 3, I think.
At the very least, top 2, I see. Is that a bird spinning? Nope.
And it honestly might just be the same players again. It might be Darkrai and Professor Shy Guy holding down the forts for their team, which I don't want to sound like a broken record, but BUZ cannot let this keep happening, because if they're not pulling these shocks, they're not going to be getting in to these top 2, these huge point paying positions.
Yui taken out from the highest spot of BUZ, and it looks like Icon is holding a horn in second. Q gets taken out. It's looking like another comfortable run for NT. This is something that's happening over and over again, that BUZ, not Q. Q is not the team. BUZ have not been very efficient at dealing with.
I'm looking at the map, Alex, and this is not looking pretty at all for Team BUZ. This is honestly, it looks close to a top 5 right now for Team Nightmare X. It's only BUZ in the back right now. These greens are not going to be enough. No, it's not quite. That's going to be a top 5, though, I think. Oh, no smart steering there. We actually see BUZ holding a... Oh, dirty. How could you? That is just unnecessary. Top 5, indeed it is. That's going to be a plus 28 race for Nightmare X. This is looking very, very grim now, Alex. Is there only 1 race left or 2? I think there might be 2. So a win is not out of the realm of possibility, but is it likely?
It's a 60-point deficit at the very least at this point.
Their hopes are starting to diminish a little bit, I think.
Sorry, no, it'll be around a 60-point deficit, maybe high 50s. Yeah. And if BUZ don't get a plus 20, plus 25 race here, they're out of it. They cannot mathematically cannot come back unless they get a pretty sizable race. Although with the room being delayed, are we seeing, and we are seeing a Nightmare DC. That would explain why he got last.
I mean, I'll tell you what. If BUZ needed a get out of jail free card, if there's any time they needed it, it is now.
Right now.
They are down 54 points. We have Kamek subbing in for Nightmare X. As we go to Daisy Cruiser, the thing I'm a bit concerned about, though, for Team BUZ is if Nightmare X are going to have constantly a bot in the back, if they're pulling shocks, that could really thwart BUZ's chance of a comeback here. If these shocks are going to be coming in, not many people are dodging, or if anything, Nightmare X are going to know more when the Kamek has the shot more than BUZ do. So we'll have to see what this Kamek gets up to in the back. But
I think for BUZ here, sorry to cut you off, I think the only thing you can do in this situation is have one person just commit their whole race to going for shock and just hope that you can get a top 5 out of it, because essentially Nightmare have the free shock advantage. Even if it isn't a shock that massively benefits them, it's still a shock. It probably won't benefit BUZ, as they won't have the facilities to deal with it. But
Kamek 1, Q 0. As you see, both players, not from Nightmare X and BUZ, going for the shock, not pulling it though. Golden Bill.
Q doing exactly what needs to be done here. Like I said, I think this is the only thing that can get BUZ back into this match.
But not only that, but look at the map again, time and time again. It's top 3 right now from Nightmare X. They're just holding down the forts and all of those top spots. On a track like this as well, you're not catching up if a shock is not pulled.
They need the shock so badly.
I can imagine Team BUZ are just holding their dodges right now, praying that Q can pull it right here. It's not pulled. It's the exact same items, though. It's Bill Golden. I think this might be curtains, Alex. This is not looking good. And we also see Nightmare X holding the blue as well. A slow horn from, I think, its teammate. Yeah, this is GG. This is GG. That red shell doesn't matter.
Been able to command the front for the entire race, and Shock does finally come in. It looks like it was Kamek that used that. Yeah. Kamek holding it. NT Kamek, new recruit, division MVP, man of the match.
Not even getting last. That's going to be all she wrote. Top 2, 4, 7, 9-11 for Team Nightmare X. So now BUZ's winning streak is over. 3-1 for what is both teams now. Both teams finishing 3-1, though Nightmare X will have the head-to-head against BUZ with this win. So I think they're actually now winning the conference.
Yeah, the head-to-head being such a big deciding factor in a close division like this, or well, when there's two teams that are so like neck and neck. Like you said, same results pattern, but I think it's quite safe to say that these two are the strongest teams in the division. Which
yes, very, very strong. I wouldn't really argue on that. And one thing I will say is it is good that we do actually have a 12 in the room, so we can at least finish on level playing fields. As we're going to Rosalina's Ice World. Finish race 12.
Wave 6, thumbs down.
Thumbs down. You know, I found a Wave 6, bro.
Well, you're forgetting that I didn't play Wave 6 until like 3 or 4 months after it was released.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So I'm still behind. We do see a couple speed combos. Someone being very reminiscent of Mario Kart Wii by the looks of things.
That was a full speed combo as well. In 10th, from Team BUZ, the Funky Kong Circuit Special Slicks was praying for a Moonview Highway pick there, but it was
for the record, Squidz. I think there were 2 people at most picking Moonview.
Yeah, that's quite funny to think about.
I don't even think that's the sort of thing you would do if there's 2 people picking it.
You'll be surprised.
That's true. You're a man of many surprises. TJ leading the charges of the speed combos though. Somehow managing to hold a top spot on Funky on that combo.
I'll tell you what it is. Called. Oh wow, that was a really unfortunate bump. Oh, I was actually just about to say we do see someone really far back in last. Was that DC? No, it is Q, who is essentially just giving up, throwing in the towel.
He got a little too silly.
Yeah, accepting that this is not going to be the war. It's not going to be the outcome they wanted, but again, both teams are 3-1. They're looking very good still in this division. I'll tell you what, I know what's happening here. We're slowing down. We're holding a star. We're going to go for a little bit of stop trolling. Well, I'll tell you what, though, there's a blue, so I feel like this stop trolling's not even going to do too much. Well, I mean, you know what? Never mind. I think I might have been wrong.
Not often that you see this, but it was a pretty poor attempt.
Come on, Shy Guy, get him. You got the red.
Bump him. Get his ass. Go.
In fact, if Professor Shy Guy throws the red, would it even lock on? I don't even think it would it?
It wouldn't.
No.
It would just skip over the bill.
Missing.
No impact.
In normal circumstances, you'd be thrilled to pull a bill there, but when you're a lap down, it doesn't really matter. So this is going to be a dub on the side of Nightmare X. Youch. Through comes the green shell from left field. Well, I suppose it was right field because it came from the right. But I don't think it's a shocking play.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of Nightmare X in the back, albeit Professor Shy Guy is still in first. I think we can still see Q trying to stop troll with that bill on the map.
You're not doing a very good job.
Starting the lap 3 now. But
as a Mario Kart Wii player, I'm not impressed.
And there is the shock. Wow, Bai actually got 5th there, past so many players.
Could we be seeing a
my goodness,
4, 5, 9,
probably 4, 5, 9, 10. Well, again, a part of me is not surprised with the deficit that Team BUZ put themselves under by going those combos. But you know, I wouldn't. That's actually a really interesting strategy to do. I mean, I say strategy, it's not a strategy at all. But if Team BUZ do end up getting the run back in a few weeks' time against Nightmare X, then I think the plus minus, or at least their head-to-head against each other will count. So
it will.
Very interesting to essentially just throw away some potentially really important points there.
Yeah, you need to be grabbing every point that you can, regardless of the situation. Like, no one wants to lose by 100. and no one wants to lose by 100 and then lose the first seed or even potentially playoffs because of it. So yeah, pretty silly stuff from BUZ. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, as I said though, both teams are now 3-1 in Conference B of Division 6, so they're still both looking good. But of course, there's still another 6 matches to go. So wish both teams the best of luck. We will have to see how they get on. But while we are ending off and saying our final words, I do want to remind you guys that we have episode 2 of the Mario Kart Central Top 10 releasing very shortly, I think in around 10-15 minutes on the Mario Kart Central YouTube account, where you will be hearing a very familiar voice there. So make sure to go check that out very shortly.
Take a break for 3 years and you come back and we can't get rid of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now that I'm here, I'm like a leech. I'm a little gremlin. Yep, here to stay. Can't get rid of me. But with that, Alex, have you got any final messages? Because I think I'm just about done.
Well, very well played to both teams. Obviously,
Indeed.
As I reiterated throughout the course of the match, Nightmare with a better team. Deserved the win.
They were.
But thank you to both teams for providing an entertaining match, and especially to Q and Bai for providing the POVs.
Of course.
Yeah, and I think that's all from me.
Cool. Well, everyone, for those who are still here, thank you very, very much for watching. We love you guys.
Mwah.
We will speak to you guys next week with an MKU match, and hopefully we'll see you in 10-15 minutes on the Mario Kart Central YouTube channel. All right. Peace, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.